being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Chatting with Brian at Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail. Well, time to see how your car weathered the winter.
That it is. Let's make sure your vehicle is ready to handle the warm months ahead.
Being a AAA and ASE certified shop, I know you guys are well equipped to do just that.
Justin and our techs have all the experience you need in diagnosing and repairing whatever may be ailing your vehicle.
And if finances are tight for customers, you can help there?
Yes, we can. We offer the AutoPass card, which has really been a huge help for people who are in dire need of repairs. Call us with any questions on this program, or you can get an answer in minutes right from our homepage at anytimeanytime.com. Just click the AutoPass Apply Now button.
What a great option for those who have repairs that just can't wait.
Absolutely. It's been a fantastic opportunity for many people.
Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail, everybody. The place to trust. Your complete AAA and ASE certified automotive repair specialist. See anytimeanytime.com and at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
We are Fox Sports!
And here's what you need to know.
Things winding down at Quail Hollow in the first round of the PGA Championship. Cam Davis is your leader. He's at 6 under par as the Australian is playing his final hole of the day. Ryan Gerard is a shot back at 5 under after a round of 66. Scotty Scheffler, 2 under par, 69 today, while Rory McIlroy, a 3 over par round of 74, currently has him 9 shots back of the lead. Colin Morikawa and Ludwig Åberg currently still on the course with a few holes to play. They're at 2 under and 4 back. Justin Thomas is at 1 over par through 16 holes. Bryson DeChambeau, 1 over through 13. And Jordan Spieth trying to complete his own career Grand Slam this week at 3 over par through 15 holes. Twins have won 11 in a row. They stopped the Orioles 4-0. Reds beat the White Sox 7-1. Rays over the Jays 8-3. Braves down the Nationals 5-2. Thunder and Nuggets tonight, Game 6. Game 5 on the ice, Hurricanes and Capitals, Stars and Jets. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, good Thursday afternoon to you. How are you? Thanks for being here. It's always a great day in South Dakota. You know that. Thanks for being on South Dakota Sports Talk Show, live on Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show back and ready. We're out of the gate. Welcome in on Twitter. If you're streaming us, that's great. You can watch us live on Twitter at Nate Brown Show. So saying hi to everybody there. Bring us up on your phone. Follow the show. Watch us live at Nate Brown Show. And YouTube channel is up and ready. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel that way, and you've got every show right there. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Thursday edition of the program looks good. We've got some stuff to throw around today. Wolves in the Western Conference Finals, back-to-back years. How about that? I mean, have we ever thought about this? The Wolves getting to an NBA Finals? Have we? They haven't been there yet. Have we ever thought the Wolves were going to make an NBA Finals before the Vikings make a Super Bowl? I mean, I don't want to touch on some touchy subjects. We're going to get into this thing. Let's get going tonight on the Nate Brown Show. Some great guests tonight. We'll talk to pro basketball scout, covers the NBA, Net Scouts basketball, Chris Denker live tonight. His read on the Wolves. What's his take on their shot to get past Denver, OKC, the Wolves in the Western Conference Finals? Chris Denker is on tonight, former D1 coach. We will go to Denver. James Merilatt's covering the Nuggets, denversports.com. Denver hosting a Game 6. I just saw Jamal Murray questionable. I just saw that before the show started. That's a biggie tonight for the Nuggets. He's questionable due to an illness, so maybe he'll play, but that's huge. Jamal Murray questionable tonight. James Merilatt's coming up from Ball Arena, talking Nuggets OKC, Game 6. down to national NFL writer tonight, Frank Schwab, YahooSports.com. Frank on the schedule release and what he expects. We'll get to him. Frank Schwab coming up, national NFL writer, Yahoo Sports. And also tonight, Thursday happy hour. Rob Keighron's on his way into the second hour, guest host every Thursday in the second hour of the show. Rob Keighron, national host, great guy. He is in tonight, Thursday happy hour with Rob Keighron on the Nate Brown Show. Let's get you on if you want in, 605-720-1067. That's our Pizza Ranch studio hotline. Powered by the Pizza Ranch at 3809 East 10th Street in Sioux Falls. Stop by the buffet tonight. Also in Brandon and 2 locations in Rapid City. It's the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. 605-720-1067, your Pizza Ranch studio hotline. And the Barron's Wilson text line ready to go. We've got the app open on the text line, 605-720-1067. If you want to text the question of the day answers and be a part of the conversation there on the listener text line. I'll start the show with the Wolves situation. There's not much else to say other than it's a huge thing, because here's a couple of things the Wolves have that they've never had going for them. It's a franchise that's just been forgotten about. I mean, unless you're a passionate Wolves fan, and maybe you guys stuck this thing out from Kevin Garnett back in the day till now. Maybe you've stuck it out, but the last time they were in the Western Conference Finals was 2004, and then in 2024. So there was a 20-year gap, and you didn't even really consider the Wolves as a factor. They've been mocked. They've been laughed at. They didn't pick Steph Curry, and I mean, the list goes on, right? So the Wolves being where they're at right now for Minnesota sports fans, you just got to take this and say, man, this is big time. I'm very surprised that this Wolves organization has gone from really nothing happening to now not only good and competing in the NBA playoffs, they're making it to the Western Conference Finals again. So all I'm going to say is if you're a Minnesota sports fan, you got to make sure that you enjoy this puppy right now because this is Timberwolves basketball. There's something that people think about. Well, the Vikings are the king in Minneapolis. The Vikings have all the fans here in South Dakota. I get that. I know that. It's like my brother. My brother's a Vikings lifer, an absolute Vikings lifer. He's not a Timberwolves lifer. But this Timberwolves thing making noise like this isn't just a team that's kind of good. They're not only not laughed at now, they might make their first NBA Finals. I think it's a huge upper Midwest sports story. It's a ways to go. That's the kicker. Can they make the Finals for the first time? The thing I think about with the Wolves is, how did this turn around? How do you turn things around when you're one of the lowest organizations? You just not respected. You don't have players. You make bad front office decisions. Well, you know what? And I got to admit, I did not think the Anthony Edwards thing when they picked him first, I did not think the Anthony Edwards was like, well, this is the real deal. Because I watched him at Georgia. I watched college basketball, and I watched him at Georgia, and I thought, really athletic, can make some plays. Is he going to be the shooter? Is he going to be the competitor? Is he going to be able to be the face of a franchise, the guy? And it seems like he's stepping into that thing. I mean, he is an unbelievable player. I really undervalued him out of college. So how do you turn the Wolves around? How did they even get to this point? I know there's other factors here, and the decisions were, that I think Chris Finch is a nice coach. I think he's done a really good job. And so this has gone from a bad organization to now you got Alex Rodriguez coming. You got new ownership. I don't think that's had much to do with this, but nonetheless, it's a new deal here. New ownership, a new vibe. You know what the kids say these days, a new vibe. And it really is the case. And then Anthony Edwards, the guy that I undervalued as that big-time pick, I thought this might be another mess up by the Wolves. I actually admit that. And don't tell me you were wondering back in the day if you followed it. Anthony Edwards, that's the number one pick. This is going to be the next NBA star, and he's just been off the charts. I mean, he is really good. Now, I'm curious if he's going to be mature enough to take the next step. That's what I'm watching next. I don't know if the Wolves can beat OKC or Denver. It sure seems like they can. I'll ask Chris Denker. He's the basketball guy. But this Wolves story is quite something because you have to admit today, Minnesota sports fans, did you think the Vikings would make a Super Bowl before the Wolves made it this close to the NBA Finals? You had to know that. You had to think. Now, the Vikings making a Super Bowl's, it's iffy. I understand we're not used to it. Last time, 1977. 1977. But I think everybody goes into the Viking season thinking, man, look at this roster. I don't know. Look at this. Things can happen. We've never went into the Timberwolves season going, yeah, Anthony Edwards is going to revive the Wolves organization, the number one pick, and he's going to take them all the way to the Western Conference Finals in back-to-back years. You wouldn't have dreamed it. We wouldn't have dreamed it. It is absolutely something to watch. Let's see here. Listener text. I would hate to see the ratings for the NBA Finals if it's the Wolves and the Pacers. Yeah, I understand, but get this. You're going to get OKC, I think. I'm pulling for the Nuggets. I like Jokic. I'm pulling for the Nuggets big time, but you're going to get OKC and the Wolves in the Western Conference Finals. Nobody thinks nationally that that's going to play that well. We'll see. But, yes, I'm with you. If it's Pacers, Timberwolves, as a basketball fan, we should all admit, if you like basketball, you'll love that. If you like basketball, those are two really good teams. I don't need LeBron in there. I don't need the Celtics in there. I know a lot of people outside of South Dakota probably need that. But we're okay with the Wolves making the run. Even though the national part of this, if it's Pacers, Wolves, yeah, I feel your pain. Listener text, did you ever think the Wolves would make the Western Conference Finals back-to-back? That'd be like the Vikings making the NFC Championship back-to-back here. It'd be like the Vikings on the verge. Can they take the next step? I never thought the Wolves would get to an NBA Finals before the Vikings got to the Super Bowl. Listener text, and the Twins have won 11 in a row. I know. It's quite something right now. The Twins were left for dead. They've won 11 in a row. The Wolves are on the verge of an NBA Finals, maybe, I hope. And do I have to make the trip to a Wolves NBA Finals game? What's in my schedule? Can we go to my schedule here, please, Matt Kearney? Can you take me to my schedule? I might have to do that. You can't kid yourself on this. This is once in a deal here. I never went to the Nuggets when they made it a couple of years ago, and I regretted that. NBA Finals, close by in the region. I never went. Do I go to the Wolves NBA Finals game? I encourage you to do that. Break out the checkbook and have some fun. Listener text, Vikings have 6 primetime games. What a day to be a Minnesota sports fan. It's a good day. Who would have thought? May 15th. What a day to be a Minnesota sports fan. Okay, I just thought, comparing them, the Wolves could make the NBA Finals before the Vikings make a Super Bowl, and I think that's just amazing when you really think about that. Where the Timberwolves have been, because the Vikings have been, I understand the pain you've been through, but they've been much more respected. Like, oh, yeah, you wouldn't have been surprised if the Vikings made it, right? You would be surprised if the Timberwolves, where they're coming from, have now made it. And I undervalued Anthony Edwards big time. He's a player. So Wolves wait in the winner of Denver OKC. Let's go to this. I have a question of the day. Speaking of the schedule. Question of the day as we start tonight. Speaking of the NFL schedule, everybody's breaking down the teams, and is it going to be a good schedule, an easy schedule? Who's got what? I'm not doing that. I got an attention here. So the Vikings, you're saying, have 6 primetime games. So they're on primetime a lot. The Broncos, I thought I saw, had 4 or 5. So you're going to have to watch Sean Payton, you guys. Broncos got 4 or 5. There's 3 teams that have none. There's 3 NFL teams that have 0 primetime games. You don't want to watch these teams. So I asked my question of the day tonight to the audience. You just tell me, could you guess if you haven't seen this stat, if you haven't broken down the schedule, who's the least interesting team that you would not want to watch here in this season? Okay? Put it all together for me. I've got 4 that ring the bell. I've got 4 that ring the bell. And I can't tell you, I'm not sure which way I'm going to lean on which one's the absolute least interesting. But if you have it and you say, hey, this team I could absolutely care less. I mean, I don't need to watch these guys. No interesting storylines, no interesting players, no connection whatsoever. There's 3 teams in the NFL that don't have a primetime game. I'm asking you, which team is the least interesting in the NFL this season for you? 605-720-1067. Which team is the least interesting team to watch this season? I've got 4, and I'm just throwing you guys a bone on one of these. I'm throwing you a bone on one of these because I actually think they're going to be interesting, and I'll tell you who. But I think you're going to vote for them, too, on the text line because they are who they are. So I think you're going to vote for them. But I've got 4 teams that are qualifying for this question of the day in my world. Least interesting NFL teams. Which is the least interesting for the schedule release? I'm going to throw out 4 of them for you, and you tell me. One has to be the Carolina Panthers. One has to be the Carolina Panthers. What I guess Bryce Young is there, so we maybe want to see if he's going to have a career. Can you tell me any other interesting storyline with the Carolina Panthers? And by the way, they're one team that has 0 primetime games, so I did get that one. Carolina Panthers might take the cake. Least interesting team to watch. You're live, and you go ahead. Hello.
Yeah, I'm thinking the New Orleans Saints.
You are? Okay, I was throwing them in my list. Why?
One, their number one thing that they were happy about is the fact that their quarterback retired to get them out of salary cap hell.
Right, so, save money, right.
If your best storyline that you can come up with to make your team excited is the fact that your quarterback retired and it makes it so you're not going to be over the cap anymore, that instantly shows that I'm thinking they're going to win 3 games all year, and one of them are against your other team, Carolina Panthers.
Okay. I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
They may even win less games than that, and I'm even thinking, Cleveland is another team. They're going to be terrible when their only interesting thing is going to be if they start Shedeur.
Yes, but okay, that's they're in my list, and I knew you guys would vote for them, but Shedeur provides some interest. That's why I can't kill him. I can't kill Cleveland.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. I think he's right. The Saints are in my list. By the way, on Twitter, I've got the vote. Which NFL team is the least interesting team to watch this season? To you, 605-720-1067 on the Nate Brown Show tonight. I've got 4 options, and on the Twitter poll right now, 50% of the audience has voted for the Saints. I didn't think the Saints would totally win the vote. They have won the vote big time, even spreading out the votes. 50% of people responding say the Saints, 26% Carolina, and here's 2 more for you. Who do you really get passionate about watching the Indianapolis Colts? Is there anything that gets you on the Indianapolis Colts? I mean, I'm just going through my Sunday. It's like, hey, the Colts are playing the Bengals. Really? The Colts are playing the Texans. Great. There's just nothing about the Colts. Gone are the days of Peyton Manning. It's been gone a long time. Andrew Luck, see ya. Colts just don't move the needle for me. Not at all. Anthony Richardson, not at all. And my last one is the Browns. I knew you guys would at least vote for the Browns a little bit, but they are coming in last in this, which is good for them. 10% of you say the Browns are the least interesting team to watch because if Shedeur Sanders makes it, you have to admit you will be interested in watching how Shedeur Sanders does. Whether you like it or not, you just have to admit today you will be interested in watching Shedeur Sanders and how he does with the Browns. So I'm going to pull them out. The 3 teams that are the least interesting to me, Saints, yes, great call. Panthers, Colts, there's my 3. The other team who doesn't have a primetime game, this one might surprise you, and I don't think this is a great thing because they have a really interesting player, and I don't know why they didn't give him a primetime game. The Jacksonville Jaguars. So you're telling me Travis Hunter, second pick, two-way player, is not going to be featured in the primetime. That's a big miss. That's a huge miss. So the NFL screwed that up. Travis Hunter, two-way player. First time we've seen that in a long time. And you got Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Jacksonville, I don't think it's going to be dog biscuits. I don't think they're going to be dog biscuits. And they have 0 primetime. So they got paired in there with the Colts and the Panthers as the teams with no primetime games on the schedule release. I think that's a big miss. Listener text, I don't want to watch the Dolphins. I'm with you on that one, actually. Don't tell Brian no, one of our favorite guests. He's a Dolphins guy. There's some other fan in South Dakota that's a Dolphins guy, too. They're uninteresting. I don't want to watch the Dolphins. How about this one? The Cowboys. Do we really want to watch the Cowboys 7 times? Dallas and the brand and the whole thing. Do I really want to watch the Cowboys? Yes, more than the Panthers and the Colts and the Saints, yes. But not much more. The Cowboys and the Dolphins for me are like, we really want to watch the Cowboys as much as we're going to have to see them? And they're in the first game Thursday night. Frank Schwab's on the way talking NFL. YahooSports.com national NFL writer next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
Fox Sports Rapid City Forecast. A high wind warning continues. Chance of rain tonight, otherwise overcast skies. Lows level off around 44. Northwest winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Chance of rain tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 58, overcast. Mainly clear skies. Tomorrow night, lows around 39. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 56 degrees.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank and Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC. In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Yes. Thanks for spending time with us. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live every afternoon drive on Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show here. Also streaming on X right now. Follow us at Nate Brown Show. If you're on X, the app, you have an account there, follow the show at Nate Brown Show, and you've got us live to watch us. Thursday happy hour is coming up with Rob Keighron. We're already getting texts on the text line. Trying to give Rob Keighron some grief here. National radio guy Rob Keighron guest hosts the show with me every Thursday. Thursday happy hour coming up with Rob. Frank Schwab's on tonight. National NFL writer, YahooSports.com. Frank, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. So schedule's out. This is the big story. I just want to pick your brain on a few things. Cowboys, Eagles to kick the season off. I guess I'm not surprised. Do we need the Cowboys 6-7 times on prime time?
Right, that's the thing. I thought it was interesting that the NFL basically said, no matter how bad the Cowboys get, that we're going to put them on prime time as much as we can. I mean, 7-10 last year. They're in 8 standalone games this year, counting all the international, whatever, Saturday doubleheaders, everything. 8 standalone games, ties for the NFL lead. No, I don't really need to see them that much, but the brand is so strong that it just is what it is. We gotta just suck it up because it's not going anywhere. If a 7-10 season didn't persuade the NFL to cut back on Cowboys coverage at all, I don't know what else will. They're just leaning into this thing, and I mean, I guess it's better than the Giants. Like the NFL thinks we love watching the Giants on television. We sure don't. I could tell you that. So at least Cowboys will be more competitive than them. But I kind of rolled my eyes with that too.
You give me this. You guys can look at, okay, what are people clicking on at Yahoo? What are people watching? What are people reading? The NFL knows what are people watching. Do the Cowboys move the needle?
Oh, my goodness, yes. I mean, yeah, trust me, as somebody who's part of my job is knowing what people want to read and whatnot, the Cowboys lap the field. It's they're Gretzky, and the rest of the NFL is whoever else. Like,
wow.
It is pretty startling. It is pretty startling how the Cowboys move the needle. I mean, they have the biggest fan base in the NFL, and people love to hate them. It's a perfect storm of everything. So that I get it. Like, so I sit here and I kind of rip the NFL for this and that, but I also at the same time I'm like, I see the numbers. People love reacting to the Cowboys. It's uncanny.
Okay, my replacement there, and I'm a little biased up here in the upper Midwest, I said if it's Eagles, the Vikings play the Eagles. Why not J.J. McCarthy, this Vikings team that's getting some hype? Why not Vikings-Eagles?
Yeah, I didn't like that opening day matchup, but I actually wanted to see the Rams. I thought that it was perfect as a playoff-level team, interesting team. You know they weren't going to burn Lions, Eagles week 1, so that wasn't going to happen, but maybe give us that. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we both know this, everyone's going to tune in. It's going to set records. It is Cowboys at Eagles week 1, Thursday night, is probably going to break last year's record, which I believe was 29.1 million for Ravens Chiefs. This game's probably going to break that record, and the NFL is going to look and say, see, you can complain all you want, but we know what you watch, and you tuned in to watch that one.
Frank Schwab on tonight talking NFL schedule release. So one thing I noticed, there's some teams that get put in the category of we're not going to put them on prime time. Colts, they don't get any love, which I'm not surprised by. They're just uninteresting. You look at it and say, well, who else is uninteresting out there? Panthers? Yeah, they're not getting any love. Here's one where I think they made a mistake. Why don't they put the Jaguars on? Travis Hunter, two-way player, could be somebody to watch, second pick, and the Jags don't get any love. Is that a miss?
I thought it was. Yeah, I think they're going to be a good team, and I think they're going to be a fun team. I was surprised by that too. I was surprised that there wasn't more Jaguars on there. I think that they're just, again, we talk about brands, and that's a big deal. And the Jaguars aren't a big brand, and they would have to be really, really, really good to move the needle. And they might be fun to watch, though. I mean, Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, I'm looking forward to seeing them. But, yeah, it used to be, and this wasn't long ago, where the NFL kind of had this deal where every team got a primetime game. And that's why we'd always end up with that Titans-Jaguars Thursday night game everybody complained about. It was just to burn those two. Like, okay, we're giving them their one primetime game. They really got away from that. I think it was only like 2 or 3 years ago where they started saying, you know what, no, not every team deserves a primetime game. So I believe there were 3 that didn't get any primetime games at all. I don't know, you might be right about the Colts, too. Maybe that's an international game they got. But the Titans and the Saints got every single one of their game starts at either 1 p.m. Eastern or that 4 p.m. hour Eastern. Every single game. They didn't get, neither of those teams got one standalone game. I think that was a little bit of a mistake because I want to see Cam Ward. I think he's interested. The Saints don't interest me, but the Titans do a little bit. But the NFL is basically saying, you know what, no, you got to earn your way into primetime now. We'll do our best, but you're not guaranteed anything. If you want to be in these primetime slots, you got to put a better product on the field.
Yeah. Now, I get it. Interesting stuff. Frank Schwab talking schedule release. I want to get your take on the Chiefs. And they start out in Brazil, taking on the Chargers. More international games. There's a lot. And I wonder if this is going to be the number. Are they going to keep adding more? How many games can you put in different countries?
It's really interesting, and I think the goal for them is 16. Because
really,
that would be, I mean, at least it would balance things out at least until we go to 18 games, an 18-game schedule, which I think we both know is coming at some point. But if you think about it, 17 games would be 8 home, 8 away, 1 international, and that kind of balances things. And I think that if they could pull it off, they would do it. I really do. I don't know. There's a lot of logistics involved with that. You wonder about fatigue. I mean, a lot of those games would go to Tottenham, stadium, and how many games are really the people there want to watch from the NFL? And like you said, how many countries really are you going to travel to? You're going to go to every country on the globe. But I do believe that if they had their way and everything was perfect in the NFL offices, they would just say, yep, 16. 16 games, 32 teams, every team does it once, and that kind of balances out this 9 and 8 home road schedule as well.
Steelers get some games, and everybody's saying, well, that's because they think Aaron Rodgers is going. But I think it's just the Steelers have the brand. You talk about brands, that's a pretty big brand to put on.
Yeah, I think people really tried to make something out of. I mean, and I'm not saying it's nothing. When the NFL puts on, Jets Steelers week 1. Right, I mean, that's kind of a nod and wink, right? Like, hey, we think this is going to happen. But you got to play that game anyway. Like, even if Mason Rudolph's a quarterback, well, some game from the Steelers has to go week 1. Might as well be the Jets, right? There's no particular significance if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play, but you got to fill out the schedule. So I don't buy this whole, the NFL knows Aaron Rodgers is coming, and that's why they made it the Jets week 1. Like, they're betting, of course. They're putting their chips on that. But if Aaron Rodgers decides to retire tomorrow, you still needed to schedule that game. It's not like you put it on Sunday night or anything. The Packers-Steelers game, which I believe is on prime time. I think that's a Sunday night game. Yeah, of course. Like, you're betting there that game is going to be some ratings bonanza to see Aaron Rodgers play the Packers. But again, if it's not, it's the Packers and the Steelers. It's 2 of the 5, 6, 7 most popular teams in the entire sport going against each other. So it's a totally fine primetime matchup. So, yeah, I think people are reaching a little bit when it comes to that. Although the NFL obviously has an eye on Aaron Rodgers and is putting a little bit of a gamble down that he's going to go play for the Steelers.
People are saying the 49ers have a really easy schedule. I don't know if you've broken it down. It looks a little soft. Is that real?
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, I kind of wrote a little bit today about on the betting side of things. that it's not the worst idea to grab Brock Purdy for MVP. And part of my reasoning was this 49ers schedule is really, really soft. They go from last year they had the hardest schedule in the NFL. This year they have the easiest schedule in the NFL. You don't see that very often. So, massive difference. And if you look at the end slate of games, I think it's week 11 on. They had their bye in there too. It's a who's who of bad teams and bad defenses. They're just going to shred everybody the last 2 months of the season. We know the MVP race often comes down to what happens last, who makes the impression last. And within those games, like against the Panthers and the Titans, I believe they play, within those games there's 3 primetime games. So the 49ers are going to be in primetime playing bad teams, likely on this huge winning streak. Brock Purdy, you go out, I think he's 28-1 right now at BetMGM. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I think Brock Purdy's an MVP-level quarterback, but I also know how the formula works for the bettors, and I can see a path where Brock Purdy's in that MVP discussion and just cleans up late in the season because they have such an easy schedule.
Last, not least, December 20th. People mark that day down. December 20th. That's a Saturday. NFL's been putting games there. They put them last year and now again this year. That goes up against 3 college football playoff games. What do you think the NFL's doing there? They probably don't care, should they?
I believe that that's the NFL saying, you know what, we took Christmas from the NBA. We're going to take your playoff games away, too, because we don't care. We're the NFL. We do what we want. Like, if you guys don't want to go up against the NFL, you reschedule your games because we're not changing. I don't think it's as kind of devious as that, but I just think it's the NFL saying, we don't step aside for anybody anymore. We're so far ahead of the popularity curve that we don't need to sit here and play nicey and say, oh, well, you have 3 playoff games that day. We're going to leave you be. They're going to say, nah, that's a good spot for us to put 2 Saturday games, and we're just going to do that. And again, if you want to move those games to Friday, you can, but we're not going to stop what we're doing. I just think that the hubris they have now, and it's rightful. Like if you look at the ratings, that's what it is. I mean, the NFL does what they want, and everybody else can grab the crumbs after. That was the NFL. I thought it was a statement. I thought it was a real statement for them, as was kind of taking over Christmas from the NBA. I thought it was a real statement by the NFL saying, yeah, college football, you're a feeder system and all that, and we've usually been pretty friendly with you, but we don't care anymore. We're the NFL. We're going to schedule games whenever we want, wherever we want, and you adjust to us, not the other way around.
They want the revenue. They want the revenue from those games and putting them wherever they can. Frank Schwab on tonight, national NFL writer, yahoosports.com. Find him on Twitter at Yahoo Schwab. Frank, good to have you as always. Thanks.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. Frank Schwab getting us started tonight on the Nate Brown Show, national NFL writer, talking schedule release. Good stuff there. yahoosports.com for his coverage. He's saying, look at Brock Purdy. Got an easy schedule, real easy schedule for Brock. Boy, he threw out the teams that were very uninteresting, so we all have a consensus, huh? Saints, Colts, Panthers. Those are my top 3. I put in the Browns, but I'm not going to vote for that because Shedeur Sanders is a story all by himself. All by himself. Is there anybody else that we're missing? Lister text coming in. Nate, I wanted you to make this question of the day for next hour while Rob's there because I'm going to make my vote as the Giants as the most uninteresting team. Well, come on. Let's wait for Rob. We'll do it again. All right, we'll bring this up for Rob. They got Russell Wilson, guys. I mean, that's more interesting than most. Let's see how Russell's doing. Is Russell cooking or is he not cooking? Chris Denker's coming up next on the Nate Brown Show. Pro basketball scout, international coach, former D1 head coach, talking how good are the Wolves? Can they make it to the NBA Finals? Who's Chris Denker taking? He joins us live next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Save big on everything for your next painting project when you shop at Menards. Pittsburgh's premier is an interior paint and primer in one that provides excellent all-around performance in an easy-to-clean, durable finish. Save big money on Pittsburgh's premier paint now at Menards. Plus, don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, Sioux Falls sports fans, there's a great new sports bar in Sioux Falls, Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar on West Russell Street in the Ramada Water Park Hotel. If you want to watch games, UFC, they've got it, wall-to-wall TVs, and the best part, great food. Gourmet pizza at Boston's, tons of wing options, great burgers, and a lot more. Bring the family, bring the team, bring your crew to the new Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar in Sioux Falls on West Russell Street. Plus, you can order online for lunch or dinner. Just go to bostons.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Ever dreamed of building something amazing? Builders First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs is your go-to building materials partner. Whether you're building new or giving new life to an old space, we provide step-by-step guidance from drafting and cabinetry design to lifelike visualization and top-quality materials. It's your vision, and we're here to make it real. Visit BLDR.com. Builders First Source, your Black Hills partner in building every step of the way.
Eating in Deadwood has so many options thanks to Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. Wake up with the trusted taste of Starbucks or sit down to a full breakfast at Best Brews. Looking for lunch? Build a wonderfully fresh sandwich from Jersey Mike's. Grab some quick and cheesy goodness from Pizza Hut or pull up a chair in Patty O'Neill's Irish Pub. Need something a little more intimate for dinner? Well, Snitches is all the buzz with an evolving menu of chef-designed culinary creations. There's something for everyone to eat at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort, located on historic Main Street in Deadwood.
Isn't it time for new windows and doors from Renewal by Andersen? With mortgage interest rates where they are right now, so many people are renovating their own homes rather than moving. And there's never been a better time to invest in awesome new windows and doors from Renewal by Andersen. Renewal by Andersen's legendary windows have been the best you can get for decades, but many people don't know that Renewal by Andersen also has incredible new ensemble entry doors and the entire Acclaim line of replacement windows, which are winning rave reviews from clients. Renewal by Andersen's windows, ensemble entry doors, and the entire Acclaim line of replacement windows will make your home so much more energy efficient on cold winter nights or hot summer days. Those new windows and doors will make your home so much more quiet and secure. We hear that all the time. Please visit RBARapidCity.com to schedule a free consultation. Be sure to ask about our great offers and really attractive financing options right now. Renewal by Andersen Windows and Entry Doors. Isn't it time?
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on. Thursday edition of the program coming up. Happy Hour with Rob Keighron live in studio. We've got a lot to discuss tonight. Some questions of the day, throwing it around a little bit. Who is the least interesting team to watch in the NFL this season? The schedule's out. Who's the least interesting team to watch? Saints winning our vote tonight. Do you have anybody else? I've got Saints, Colts, Panthers. Jaguars don't get any standalone games. The Jags don't get any. Travis Hunter, that's a big miss there by the NFL. I don't know what they're thinking, but Colts, I buy it. Panthers, I buy it. Saints, they're not going to be on much either. So I buy that one as well. How about the Vikings, by the way? The Vikings have as many standalone games as the Chiefs and the Cowboys. Did you know that from the schedule? Vikings have as many standalone games as the Chiefs and the Cowboys. So NFL's saying, hey, Vikings going to be interesting, man. I would have went Vikings-Eagles right to start the year, though, instead of Cowboys-Eagles. But, you know, the Cowboys moving the needle. And Frank Schwab moments ago told us that, national NFL writer on the show tonight, say Cowboys lap everybody, and it's still that way. I'm a little surprised by that. There's Cowboys fans that listen to this show, and we go back and forth on a little bit, but we get heavy Vikings here, heavy Packers here, some Chiefs, Broncos. I don't hear from a ton of Cowboys nation here on the program. All right, 605-720-1067 is our number on the Barons-Wilson text line. That's how you answer the question of the day. Which NFL team is the least interesting to watch this season? 605-720-1067 on the Barons-Wilson text line. I told you, Saints winning the vote. Let's update it. 51% of the audience, Saints. 25% Panthers. 14% of you say the Colts. Yeah, I'm with you on those. 10% of you voting for the Browns until Shedeur Sanders takes over. Until Shedeur Sanders takes center stage. All right. Listener text coming in. I bet Rodgers goes to the Saints instead of the Steelers. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, the Saints are a mess there at quarterback. So, I mean, they have nobody. That's an interest. I haven't seen people throwing that one out there. I don't know if that would. I don't know if they'd make that play or not. What's Aaron need? He might do that. Easy division, playing indoors, getting older. That's not a bad take. Not a bad take. I bet Aaron Rodgers goes to the Saints instead of the Steelers. That team would become an instant must-watch, said the listener text. Okay, one more question tonight. And I didn't expand on this as much as I want to, but I'm gonna put it out there to the audience. Would you guys be interested at all? We talked about the NFL draft just a month ago. Would you be interested at all if the NFL draft went to a draft lottery system? Would that interest you at all? I think the NBA does it fine because I was explaining this to my wife, actually. She's very smart, okay? Very smart. But she was asking me the other day, how's the NBA do this lottery thing? She wasn't quite up to speed on that. So I explained the lottery and the percentage chances, and it's not just the worst team. Like she knows that's how the NFL works. So is that a possibility when you think about, should teams be racing for the worst record, i.e. the Saints? Are the Saints going to be racing for the worst record? Yeah, and then I get the number one pick, so it's going to be a reunion with Arch Manning and the Saints in Louisiana. No. See, but I'm telling you, then you wouldn't have that automatic worst record team getting the first pick. I think people say, well, those teams deserve it because then it's hyped up, and then you can turn your whole franchise around and the whole thing. Well, get this, though. This story just came out today. In a book that was put out by Seth Wickersham at ESPN, Caleb Williams was actually trying to find a way not to go to the Bears. So I tie that in here because the players don't want to go to the worst team without a doubt. And so Caleb Williams sitting here knowing he's going to be the number one pick. That actually came out in the book. How do I work or find a way to work around this here? And now that's never a good look. So now Chicago fans are going to, Caleb's got a little edgy there anyway. So he's got to prove himself. I mean, people kind of like him. That's the feeling you get. Caleb's not lovable like Josh Allen. Caleb's still got a long way to go. So the Chicago fans will hit you hard if you talk some trash. And so that just came out in the book. He didn't want to go to the worst team. So would you guys ever explore, would you ever think about maybe the NFL could switch around into a lottery system a little bit to where then you've got some teams towards the bottom that still have a percentage chance to get the number one pick. They've got a percentage chance. And now people say, well, look at how screwed up the NBA did it with the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks who had a good season, pretty good season, and then they get the number one pick and they get Cooper Flagg. I think it would provide some intrigue. I don't know why I'm in the minority on this. I'm looking at the poll. I put it out there. Would you be interested in the NFL doing a draft lottery instead of rewarding the worst team with the number one pick? Absolutely. Every time the worst team gets the number one pick, would you be interested in the lottery instead? 76% of my audience voted no, just reward the worst team. And I'm trying to figure out why that is the case. If you're one of those voters, I think there's more intrigue. There's probably less tanking by front offices that look at, hey, our roster, our personnel, we're not going to be able to do much. Let's see how we can do for the number one pick. You never want teams to be the worst in the NFL. You don't want to be the worst, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm wondering why people don't want to do it draft lottery style in the NFL like the NBA does it. Speaking of the NBA, let's go to our next guest. I've got him, Chris Denker, on tonight, NetScoutsBasketball.com, talking NBA. Chris, good to have you. How are you?
Good, Nate. Thanks for having me. Sorry about the cell service.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate you getting in. Hey, I was just talking NBA lottery here. I threw out the question, the NFL just rewards the worst team. And my audience says, I think that's how that should work. 76% of people say, just keep rewarding the worst team. I go the other way. I like the lottery. More intrigue. More teams have a chance. Was it a bad look for the NBA to get the Mavericks as the number one pick?
It makes you wonder. With some friends and I and coaching friends, they're saying, okay, all your NBA conspiracy theories are about to play out here. The Mavs are going to win, after the whole drama of the Luka trade and all the stuff. And then sure enough, it happened. From the math perspective of it all, what I had read was that Dallas had a 1.4 or 1.8% chance of winning. But you also had three teams, Utah, Washington, and I think Charlotte, who all had like a 14% chance of winning. So those together are, roughly 42% of the odds are going to go to one of those teams. And yet Dallas wins the lottery. And then not only that, San Antonio somehow slides into second. It just makes you chuckle. I just can't understand how that possibly could have worked. But, yeah, interesting. And then what does Dallas do with it, right? I mean, I think a lot of people think the obvious is Cooper Flagg, and I do think he's the number one pick. But I think there's also an argument that if you're trying to win with older guys like Irving off injury, Anthony Davis, who's injury-prone, and so forth, Klay Thompson, I think you consider trades if you're thinking you've got a 2-year window to try to win the championship.
Well, you've seen a lot of basketball players. You wouldn't dream of getting a trade, though, with Cooper Flagg. Is he going to be a real deal? Like, it's hard to tell sometimes who's going to be a real deal NBA player. Would you ever think about, maybe we should get rid of this number one pick?
Well, if it's just, take the best guy and is he good enough and all that, then absolutely, he's great. Will he help them win a championship in a year or two? That's the question I think you really have to look at and decide, if a kid who's of his age, I mean, he's young. And can he come in and help you win a championship in an impactful way, again, with those veteran guys? There's a lot that goes into it. Rookies don't typically do that. And so he'd have to be extra special for that to happen. That said, I do think he's I don't know if generational talent is something that you would say, but he's elite in that regard. I mean, he's very, very good. He's, to me, clear-cut number one, no doubt about it. And you could start listing reasons why, but one of which is just go back to pre-Olympics when he was playing against our Olympic team on the USA kind of practice squad and playing with other NBA players. Here he is, this young kid who hadn't even played a college game yet, and he played really well. So I definitely think he's up to the challenge. It's a little different, as we're seeing right now. When you get into the playoffs, young guys don't just immediately burst onto the scene and take over the playoffs. It's one of the things that makes Anthony Edwards special, and he's probably 4 or 5 years older than Cooper Flagg. So I think it go a number of ways.
I got to say, Chris, I undervalued Anthony Edwards, and this is where I want to go with the Wolves now. A lot of Timberwolves fans up here. I admit, coming out of Georgia, the Wolves took him. I'm like, he's good, but is he going to be able to shoot good enough? Is he going to be able to be consistent enough? Had some highlight stuff at Georgia, but I undervalued him. What did you think coming out to the player he is now?
Yeah, I didn't see this. I thought really good. We've seen a lot of guys over the years, and I won't try to name them all, but we've seen a lot of the guys over the years who were going to be the next Jordan, or he's the next Kobe, or he's the next LeBron, or even if it's, he's just like Dwayne Wade. And you always hear all these things, right? And so you always kind of wonder, and then many of them don't live up to the hype. He's been phenomenal. And again, go back to that Olympics, he was really good. He's been good for his team, and then now he's doing it on the biggest of stages in terms of helping teams get to, not only the playoffs, but winning a series, winning multiple series, getting to Western Conference championships, and so on. I mean, and again, he's still only like 23 years old, so it's amazing what he's been able to accomplish and has started to do things that I think everybody just assumed he was sort of this athletic, big guard that could drive you and dunk it and do some of those highlight things. He's also shot the ball extremely well, as you've alluded to, and then, even his ability to defend and pass and do a variety of other things to help his team win. He's been great. He's been really a heck of a player and an all-around player.
I want to ask you, OKC Denver tonight. I feel like OKC has the edge in this series either way. I don't know if Denver wins tonight. Maybe they do. We'll see. I like Jokic and I like the Nuggets, but if it's the Wolves, OKC Denver, how good of a chance do the Wolves have? They haven't made an NBA Finals ever. A lot of Minnesota fans, can they do it?
Yeah, I think they can beat either team. Now, one thing that will be kind of interesting, and actually I think it works this way in the West and in the East. Indiana has advanced, and obviously the Wolves, as you mentioned, have advanced. Both of those teams await, and then they will be the road team no matter what. So they're going to be, they will not have home court advantage. Whoever wins in either the Nugget OKC series or the Knicks Celtics series, they will be the higher seed and the home seed. So that's kind of an interesting thing because in the playoffs it always, matters, or it seems to. But I think that the T-Wolves can beat either of those teams for sure. And they, again, star caliber player, but they've also got a lot of depth, and that's one of the things that really hurt the Warriors. Is the Warriors roster is in my view, probably the weakest in the playoffs of the teams that were still around, from top to bottom. Now, when you've got a healthy Curry and Jimmy Butler and Draymond and the guys, really good and could have won and could have beat anybody. But as soon as Curry went out, I mean, you saw that there are many respects where the Warriors look like a G League team. T-Wolves don't have that issue. They got some talent, some depth, some size. They can defend, plenty of scorers. I think Conley gives them a real veteran presence. So you got a lot, and then certainly the big defender inside. So I think they can beat anybody, and I think they can win the whole thing.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that. How about the Knicks tomorrow? Boy, they gave one away yesterday, and now it's tight. Tatum's out. That's huge. But I'm wondering, Knicks, if they lose tomorrow, what happens?
Yeah, I think it's, obviously the Nuggets is an obvious in that they have to win 2 in a row, but I think they win and then go lose on the road, whereas with the Knicks, they're at home now. They win now, it's over. I think it's a must. But I think you go back to Boston, they're in trouble. And that's with Tatum being out. Now, Boston, again, I'll go back to what I just said about the Warriors roster and other rosters. I think Boston's got a really deep roster, great guards. Their bigs give them what they need. They didn't even have Porzingis, and really. I mean, he played 10, 12 minutes, and they get Cornette to come in and darn near give you a triple-double with 7 or 8 blocks. I mean, he was fantastic. So even without Tatum, they were able to show the champions that they are and play great defense and score the ball enough and win the game. And I think you go back to Boston, you're just inviting them to do that again. So I think the Knicks have got to win, in the Garden. And I think they can. I like the Knicks. They aren't super deep. They're starters. I think they're starters. The other night, they didn't get a lot. I know Bridges didn't shoot it great. And OG Anunoby really struggled. If those guys don't score, they need their starters all, mid to high teens and high 20s for Towns and Brunson. And if they don't get that, their bench, while they're solid players and good defenders, they're not scorers off the bench. So the Knicks need starting 5 to really raise their game.
Some big game 6s here. Nuggets tonight. Jamal Murray's questionable with an illness. That could be huge. We'll see. Nuggets need it tonight. Knicks need it tomorrow. Chris Denker in tonight. NetScoutsBasketball.com talking NBA playoffs. He likes the Wolves. Wolves in the Western Conference Finals trying to get to their first ever NBA Finals. Chris, always appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nate.
Appreciate it. Chris Denker, former D1 coach, NetScouts basketball, pro basketball scout, live from California. All right, let's get set. Speaking of the Nuggets tonight, let's go there. Can they win against OKC, force a Game 7? Is Jokic going to get some help here? Plus, what does he think of the Broncos' schedule? How does it look? James Merilatt's coming up. DenverSports.com on the way.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
If you're grilling this weekend, be sure to have plenty of Artisan Hearth buns and rolls on hand. Fancy equipment and secret sauces are great, but once you've mastered the basics, it's all about the bun. Your perfectly grilled burgers and hot dogs deserve the best. And with several varieties to choose from, including Wisconsin brat buns, gourmet brioche, French, and onion rolls, the bakers of Artisan Hearth have the buns and rolls your family will love. Artisan Hearth, locally baked, delivered fresh daily.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
You want trucks? We've got trucks. At Denny Mental Rapid Chevrolet, shop our largest selection of new Chevy HD trucks in years. 7 2500s, 11 3500s, gas, diesel, and dualies, all with our exclusive $1,500 Denny Mental discount. Plus, get factory cash rebates or financing as low as 3.9% APR for 60 months. The trucks you want are at Denny Mental Rapid Chevrolet or DennyMentalRapidChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. $18.37 per thousand finance regardless of down with qualified credit. Expires 6/2/25.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind warning continues. Chance of rain tonight, otherwise overcast skies. Lows level off around 44. Northwest winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Chance of rain tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 58, overcast. Mainly clear skies. Tomorrow night, lows around 39. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 56 degrees.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and better Union. We're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
It is the Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, Thursday edition. We got to bring some energy tonight. Why? Rob Keighron's on his way into the studio. You got to get ready for Rob, man. Rob Keighron, our national radio host that's done a show throughout his career, finds himself in South Dakota, and it's like, now I got to be on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. You better believe it, Rob. Every Thursday he joins us. It's called Thursday Happy Hour with our guest host, Rob Keighron. Coming up this hour, hang on. James Merilatt's in tonight, DenverSports.com. Part of 104.3 The Fan. All right, James, we got some things popping, man. How are you? Are you there? Maybe.
Okay. If you're bringing me in, Nate, you keep coming and going. I didn't hear you there for about 15 seconds. I apologize.
No worries. We're connected. We're good. I'm bringing you in now. Okay, let me bring this in. Nuggets tonight, Game 6. I just saw Jamal Murray questionable illness. What do we think?
Well, if you look at the last two games, I mean, the Nuggets actually probably outplayed the Thunder for the vast majority of both games 4 and Game 5. But you know, they couldn't close. They couldn't hit a shot in the fourth quarter. They were essentially carbon copies of each other. It's hard to look at this game and think, hey, the Nuggets are going to make this one different, given the fact that heading into the series, the one advantage Denver had was championship mettle. They'd been in tough situations. They'd won big games. They'd advanced in the playoffs. They knew how to execute down the stretch. Well, when you lose games in the fourth quarter and blow basically double-digit leads in both of them, that means now the Thunder are better at that than Denver. So that takes away the one advantage the Nuggets had. You add in Jamal Murray being ill and maybe not playing tonight. And even if he does play, Nate, he's not going to be 100% clearly. So it does not look good for the Nuggets tonight. It feels like the season comes to an end at Ball Arena about 9 o'clock tonight.
So you think that. What is it? Are the Nuggets, what about Michael Porter Jr., a guy like this who, I mean, he's got to give them some points. Where do people think he's really at?
Well, he is turned into public enemy number one here in Denver. He's the guy that's getting all of the wrath, and I understand it. He's making a ton of money. He, other than the 21 points he had in Game 3, he's been just missing in action for this entire series. I was on our show here last night, and I threw out this one caveat. He's got the shoulder. Clearly he's injured, and it's going to be one of two things. Let's say they lose tonight, and we hear on Monday or Tuesday of next week that he's getting surgery on that shoulder. Well, then I think a lot of people here in town owe him an apology because he's playing through it, and he's playing through it because they essentially have 6 guys. If he sat out with an injury, now they're playing with 5, they would be up a creek, so I think he would deserve a lot of credit for playing through something that he says would have been a 4 to 6 week injury in the regular season. People in town are just kind of scoffing at that, which I think is unfair. If he ends up not getting surgery and it just, it was one of those things that seemed like much ado about nothing, then he deserves a ton of criticism for playing absolutely awful in 80% of the games. So he's got to be better, but, David Adelman's getting grief for putting him back in the game in the fourth quarter in Game 5. But if you go back and rewatch the fourth quarter, it's Russell Westbrook having 2 air balls. It's Peyton Watson missing shot after shot. It's Christian Brown missing shot after shot. At some point, David Adelman has to look down his bench and go, well, I got to try someone else. Maybe Mike's better in the fourth quarter than he was in the first half, and clearly he wasn't. But, they just have nobody other than Jokic, save for Jamal Murray for a quarter and a half the other night, who can hit a shot, and it's absolutely killed him. I'm a Nuggets fan, grew up going to McNichols Arena and watching this team. I want them to win tonight more than anybody else, but it's hard to come up with a scenario in which all of a sudden these guys are going to start hitting shots that they haven't hit in 5 games.
OKC's favored by 4.5. I saw that. That was before the Jamal Murray news that he's questionable tonight. That's a big deal for the Nuggets tonight, and they're already underdogs at home in Denver. James Merilatt talking on denversports.com. Find him on Twitter at James Merilatt. If they lose tonight, like you think, if they lose, how do you characterize this Nuggets season? Failure, upheaval, what?
I think it's a failure because I think they're a team. When you're 2 years removed from winning a championship, you're in a championship window with the best player in the league. I think anything short of the conference finals has to be considered a failure. My expectation is not for them to win a championship every year. That's unrealistic. But you got to be knocking on the door, and first and second round exits just simply aren't. So it's a failure, and it falls on the 2 guys who have already been fired: Michael Malone for not developing some of the younger players, and for Calvin Booth putting together a roster that required Michael Malone to develop younger players, because it's been readily apparent in this entire series they have 6 guys they can play, and anytime they go to anybody else, it just is hold your breath and hope it doesn't just fall apart. So, yeah, it would be a failure. And, I think they'd have a different coaching staff. I think that would that goes without saying. I'm not blaming David Adelman for losing to the number 1 seed. Michael Malone never beat a seed that was higher than him outside of the bubble when he was the 3 and they beat the 2. So losing to the 1, there's no shame in that, but he's not going to be the coach if they lose this series. I don't know that the roster is going to be significantly different because they're hamstrung with their abilities of what they can do based on cap issues. They don't have a lot of draft picks that they can trade to put into deals. And who's taking Michael Porter Jr.'s contract at this point? I don't know that anyone wants that.
Yeah, I'm with you on. I was trying to figure out how does the roster change? What do the Nuggets do? They're trying to win tonight. First of all, Game 6 against OKC. James Merilatt's on. Let's shift to the Broncos. Schedule comes out. Broncos, I saw 4 primetime. I think 4 primetime, maybe 5 standalone. Broncos, how interesting is year 2 with Bo Nix, according to the NFL? What do you think of the schedule putting the Broncos on?
Sorry, Nate, I lost you again. I got nothing but silence.
Okay, no worries. Do you have me now?
Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Yep, I got you now.
You tell me what the NFL thinks of the Broncos with their primetime games and the selection.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very positive sign. I think the NFL looks at them as a team that is on the rise. It's going to be entertaining for the nation to watch, and one of those teams that's going to be in the mix throughout the season for a playoff appearance. The fact that they're playing a Sunday night football game at Washington on November 30th is a huge positive. That is such a green flag. We always talk about red flags. That's a green flag. The fact that they would put them in week 13 in that spot. It's the Jaden Daniels versus Bo Nix game. Great matchup, but both of those teams will still be in the mix, won't have sophomore slumps. I think it's very encouraging. It's also a really good schedule from the standpoint of, they got 9 home games, 7 road games, 1 neutral. Normally when you play an international game, it's either one of your home games or you're a team that has 9 road games and it's 8-8-1. So to be 9-7-1 is good. And I really don't think there's only 2 bad spots. I don't like the game in Washington on November 30th. Who knows what the weather will be. And I hate having to play Kansas City on Christmas night on a short week, the second to last game of the year, which could be for the AFC West if all things go the way people in Denver think they'll go for the Broncos. That's a really tough spot. It's nice the league thinks that much of them, but I guarantee you, Nate, Monday of that week heading into that game, if they're both 11-4, we'll be saying, man, this is a bad draw for the Broncos. But you got a 17-game schedule. Only 2 of them are really bad spots. It's hard to complain too much about that.
Okay, they had an easy schedule last year. Easy. Is it a lot harder this year?
Sorry, missed you. It keeps going out of me. I hate to be that guy, Nate, but I missed an entire question.
No worries. Is it an easier schedule this year?
Yeah, well, I think it is. And they had a big benefit last year from playing the NFC South. This year they get the AFC South, which is almost as bad. Houston's good, but Indianapolis isn't very good. Tennessee's, they would have the number 1 pick for a reason. Jacksonville's not very good. They come in here late in the year, which is a gift. They play the NFC East, which 2 of those teams, Dallas and the Giants, aren't very good. They get both of them at home. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty easy schedule. And there's no layups in the NFL, but, when you open with Tennessee at home, Indy on the road, they're going to be in L.A. in week 3. That's going to be half Broncos fans. Nothing's easy, but it's a pretty nice schedule. We went through it last night. I think I think they should be able to go 10-7 at least again. I think 11-6, 12-5 is in play, and then at that point you're hoping the Chiefs come back to the pack and you see how it all unfolds.
James Merilatt came through loud and clear, man. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
All right, appreciate it, Nate. Always enjoy it.
Thanks a lot. James Merilatt on tonight. We could hear him, so that's good. DenverSports.com. Find his work there. 104.3 The Fan, live from Denver. He says the Broncos' schedule's pretty easy. It was easy last year, like really easy last year. He says it's pretty easy again. A layup for Sean Payton and Bo Nix, year 2 of Bo Nix, and the home opener for the Broncos. Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans. Boy, I think I should be scared, right? Rob Keighron told me, Cam Ward, all you guys said he's so much better than Shedeur Sanders. We should be scared on week 1 if I'm the Broncos. Let's ask Rob Keighron what he says this week. Happy Hour starts next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
At Ace, your backyard is right in our backyard. So when you need to feed your grass, remove the weeds, or wrangle those leaves, go to the best place that delivers on top brands like Ego, Toro, and Steel. No warehouse store can match the convenience of your locally owned neighborhood Ace. So stop on by. You can also order online for curbside pickup or get what you need delivered. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their lawn care. At participating stores.
Yeah, can I get the taco burger value combo? That's a value? I know it's a taco and a burger, but come on. Yeah, I can find a better value right across the street. No, not at the bait shop, at the gas station. I can get a South Dakota Lottery scratch game for as little as $1. You can actually win thousands of dollars. Almost enough to eat here.
Good fun. Must be 18 to play. Please play responsibly.
Sports Grass by Forever Lawn delivers a trifecta that can't be beat. Higher quality product, expertly handled custom installation, and long-term partnership. Indoors or out, small or large. Your sports grass field will continue to look and feel great after years of play. Call 605-831-9026 or Google Forever Lawn in South Dakota. With dealerships on both sides of the state, we're ready to help you put the best into your sports fields. Forever Lawn in South Dakota.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Get set for a night of non-stop laughs as the Box Elder Event Center welcomes comedian Michael Palisak.
When I was in college, my parents relocated to Chicago, and I found them.
After being a finalist on Last Comic Standing and appearances on Stephen Colbert and Conan, he's coming to Rapid City Saturday, May 31st.
The closest thing we have to a gang is the Future Farmers of America.
Advance tickets are just $20 at thebox.live. Don't miss Michael Palisak at the Box Elder Event Center, Saturday, May 31st.
The hottest wins are at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resorts. Blaze into big wins with over $80,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs, including your chance to drive off in a 2025 Chevy Trailblazer. Win $300 prize packages every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to midnight, plus a $1,000 prize package at midnight. So qualify today and save the date for the grand prize drawing on Saturday, July 19th. Big wins all summer long at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort in Deadwood. How will your night play out?
Hi, I'm Bill at Wire for USA. If you're looking for internet, TV, security systems, or cell booster systems, why would you look at a company that only gives you one choice for each of these systems? Wire for USA offers it all. Viasat, Hughes, CenturyLink, Dish TV, DirecTV, Wilson cell booster systems, and now Starlink and Equistar internet systems. Starlink and Equistar are the newest, the fastest, and the strongest satellite internet made. No limit, no contract. Wire for USA has it. Call 605-341-5361. Whatever your home or business needs are, call Wire for USA for the products and the service. You don't need training wheels with our system. Connect to the future with Wire for USA at 605-341-5361. We are hometown, we are South Dakota, and we do appreciate your business. 605-341-5361. See us at our new location, 710 North La Crosse Street in Rapid City.
One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we're ready on a Thursday. It is Happy Hour presented by the Skybox, Rapid City's premier sports bar downtown. It is ready to go. The Firehouse patio is open right on Main Street. Hit the Skybox, Rapid City's premier spot for sports in the Black Hills. It's the Skybox, and it's Happy Hour with Rob Keighron live in studio. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're a part of the program. If you missed any parts, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. A reminder, Sundance Wicks on this week, Wyoming men's basketball coach. That was a great one. Talked to Ben Lieber yesterday, former Vikings linebacker. So if you missed some of these guests, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. It is there on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. And, of course, Happy Hour you don't want to miss. We're already getting texts on the text line about Rob Keighron coming in because people want to sound off. So you've either attracted people or attracted him for right or wrong.
I believe it's called polarizing. It's usually good in radio.
You're okay so far. So if you want to text us, you can do that. 605-720-1067. Text us on the Barron's Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. The text app is open. All right, Rob, I got the schedule release. And we're looking through it. I haven't seen the Giants, so we've spent so much time on your Giants. It's just amazing. But I haven't looked through their schedule. But I want to know if I need to be scared for the Broncos home opener. I mean, I got the Broncos home opener. We got your star, the guy who everybody thinks is going to be so much better than Shedeur Sanders. I'm scared of Cam Ward coming into Denver in week 1. Should I be just scared?
No, absolutely not. You should not be scared of a rookie quarterback on a team that lacks weapons that is going to have some growing pains. I think that is the softest landing you guys could get for a week 1 opponent. I mean,
okay.
At home.
Well, I just thought he was so much better than Shedeur. I should be nervous.
Those two things could be equally true, Nate. I mean, you make it like it's not possible. He is going to be much better than Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, boy.
But that doesn't mean he's going to be ready for NFL Week 1 in Denver.
Well, I hope that he's ready because we're going to be ready. So Cam Ward and the Titans coming to Denver in week 1. I have a question here. Let's break this down. Instead of the teams that are the most interesting, the Chiefs get 7 standalone, I think. The Vikings, they have as many standalone games as the Chiefs and the Cowboys. The Vikings, your team that you say is going to be missing a quarterback or something. Vikings are up there with the Chiefs and the Cowboys as the most standalone games in the NFL. So how about that? But how about the other teams? The teams that are the least interesting to watch. I threw this out to you earlier today. I've got my solid list. These guys don't interest me at all. I throw it to you, the teams 2025 that you're least interested in watching.
I have 3. So I went through the divisions, kind of thought, is there a storyline that would get me to pay attention? Now, if I'm being entirely honest, Nate, as you know, I watch every game, or almost every game.
You say that. I mean,
about 95%.
You got all the games on. You got your cave, and you're good.
Yeah, I got like 3 different TVs. I got 4 boxes in each one. I usually have one standalone game that I'll watch as well. So I'm watching them all. Now, can I watch it intently? Obviously, watching 8 games at 11 a.m. is not the easiest thing to do. But I have them all on. I'm paying attention to them all. So it's not as if, when I say these teams, it's not as if I'm not going to watch them. I'm going to watch.
I'm not going to, but I understand you are.
But I'm not interested. There's no storyline that I can think of for these teams that makes it captivating. The first one, to me, the one that is blatantly obvious at this point.
Number 1, least interesting.
Is the New Orleans Saints.
They are.
Oh, my gosh. First of all, I mean, Carr retires, right? They had an opportunity to really draft. You probably wanted him to draft at number 9, Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, they missed that.
They let him go. They didn't draft who the Giants drafted, Jackson Dart. They waited and drafted a Louisville quarterback who's like 25 years old. Now, what they say is he has enough experience where he could slot in and potentially start, and be ready, at least because of all of his experience, could be ready early on in the season. Okay, fine. But what else is going on in that team?
Kamara? That's all I got.
He's near the end of his... I mean, he doesn't have much left in the tank. Who are their skill players that I care about? First of all, the number 1 knock against them is they're in the NFC South, right? Which is...
It's bad.
Possibly, other than the AFC South, the least interesting division in football.
Yes.
They're the worst team in that division. I think we would have to agree. I mean, Carolina, you could certainly make the argument, but Bryce Young is at least interesting to me because he showed a lot of signs in the second half of last season, so I'm going to pay attention to him for sure.
Panthers are on my list. They're on my list of least interesting.
They're there. I could see them being there, but Bryce Young, to me, is enough of a storyline that I want to pay attention to them. The Saints have nothing going for them. Yeah, they got a new coach, but who cares? The Saints have been, other than, obviously, Breeze and your pal, Sean Payton, the Saints have been kind of a nondescript organization almost their entire time. Even when they had Archie Manning, they stunk.
Passionate fan base. I will say that. Passionate fan base.
Sure, but they never really do anything other than, that period of time with Breeze. And since Breeze, they've done absolutely nothing, right? They have not been good. They struggle. In my mind, they struggle to find an identity on either side of the ball. So right away, they're number one for me. I don't care about the Saints. I don't care what happens to them this year.
51% of our audience, I threw it out on Twitter. I put options up there. 51%. They're the leading vote getter. The Saints, the least interesting. So you got
Folks,
that.
You hear that? That's me patting myself on the back for agreeing with you.
Panthers are second, and that's it. I put the Panthers in there. I did put the Saints on my list. So I got Saints. Do you not have the Panthers? You're interested? You're going to have them on the Rob Keighron Man Cave? You're going to have the Panthers on? I mean,
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. Who cares? The guy could barely make it. I don't think he might not make it.
He's a number one draft pick. They benched him, and then he came back and played very well. Yeah, that's interesting to me. Let's see if he can do that in year 3.
That's a bad brand, though. I mean, that brand is not strong. The Panthers.
Well, here's the other thing that gets me to pay attention to the Panthers. Their owner is a complete kook. He's lost. He's crazy.
He's goofy. A little
throwing
goofy.
things at fans.
Goofy.
So I just pay attention for that alone. It's kind of like watching a car crash. Kearney's a huge, car guy. Like, sometimes you just want to watch the car crash.
Okay, so I did put the Panthers in. They don't have any primetime games, by the way. You know who else I have? I wonder if you have them. I'll let you. Who's your next team?
The Indianapolis Colts.
That's it. That's mine.
Okay.
I mean, they're on.
Yeah.
What? It's like the Colts are playing the Texans. Who cares?
Yeah. They stink. Again, a victim of this bad division, AFC South. There's really not a lot of interest in the AFC South as it is. I mean, forget the Texans. How about when they play the Titans? Yeah,
yes,
I know Cam Ward, but I mean, nobody cares about these two teams.
No.
They don't have a quarterback. They are a complete disaster.
Not a strong brand.
And they drafted Anthony Richardson, who had played like 11 games in college, and he stinks. He is awful.
But
they got nothing going on.
They won 7 games, so you're sitting here. All the Colts should be okay. It's like, I just don't care about the Colts.
Yeah, I completely agree. They are nondescript. Again, another team basically since Luck, right? They've done really nothing.
We have a listener text that came in. You might like this one. Most uninteresting team, the Giants.
Oh my gosh!
He waited for you.
What a
Giants!
What a mean fan that is.
Are they interesting?
Of course they're interesting. Because it's kind of like the whole train wreck thing, right? But Dable and Shane should have been fired last year. They're going to let these guys go back out there, and they're going to have 4 quarterbacks in a room. I mean, they are a complete mess, but they have a great defense.
I do have to say, the NFL's going to put the Giants on a little bit, and it's like, why do you think we want to watch the Giants? I mean, they have as many games as the Broncos. Are you crazy?
It's New York. That's a big part of it. You know that. Just the market share alone, if there's any storyline with them at all, and even if they're just halfway decent, people will watch. But they are in Week 3, Sunday Night Football, against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, what are we doing?
We'll be 0-2 after we lose to Washington and Dallas, and
come on,
stink it up against Mahomes.
Sunday Night Football. I guess you got Russell Wilson, so I'm not going to put them in my list because Russ is there. I'm going to be watching. Me and Rob Keighron is going to be watching the Giants. This is going to be a passionate year for you and I. You're going to be in the Giants. I'm going to be on the Russell watch.
Week 7, Giants Broncos in Denver.
In Denver. Look out. Do you have any other team? Colts?
One more I have.
Okay. I've got Panthers, Colts, Saints. Those are my 3.
Yeah, so I have obviously Saints and Colts, and then my last one. And
Careful.
You know where I'm going here.
Careful.
You know where I'm going.
Please.
No, it's not what you think. It's not Minnesota.
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
Because they are interesting.
You're really trying to kill me.
But it's tangential. It's adjacent to Minnesota, if you know what I'm talking about. They play in the far northwest. And they have an old Minnesota quarterback now, the Seattle Seahawks. I don't care about it all.
No.
I don't care about it.
That's a good brand. That's the 12th man up there. Sam Darnold had a big year. Come on.
Yeah, I don't care.
They're going to be interesting.
Not in that. I don't see it. I don't see Darnold having another big year. Again, they traded away their best receiver. I mean, let's be fair. They traded him to Pittsburgh, DK Metcalf, right? So
the Seahawks are going to be interesting. You put them in your top 3 least interesting?
Yeah. I don't care about them.
By the way, the Browns, they did not make my list because Shedeur Sanders is a show. He's going to be the show.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that they have 5 quarterbacks in their QB room right now, and you would imagine that Shedeur makes the team, right? I'd really be surprised if they cut him before the regular season. That alone is enough for me to watch.
Great show, and the Saints missed that opportunity.
When they're down 28-0 in Week 1, people are going to be calling for Shedeur Sanders to go in. That's enough for me to turn the TV on.
That's what I'm saying. I'm putting the Browns in there as well. So we got, I had 3, we had 2 of the same. And your Giants did get a vote, I do have to say. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show Happy Hour with Rob Keighron, just getting started. Should the NFL change the way they do the draft? I'm intrigued by it, but I'll ask Rob and we'll discuss next.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
Rapid City forecast. A high wind warning continues. Chance of rain tonight, otherwise overcast skies. Lows level off around 44. Northwest winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Chance of rain tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 58, overcast. Mainly clear skies. Tomorrow night, lows around 39. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 57 degrees.
Hey golfers, have you experienced Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club? Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
It's the geometry teacher who mans the ticket window.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen and store managers who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the graduate who listens to the league championship game on the internet.
It's the parent who sells ads in the school athletic program.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
It's the trainers, equipment managers, and ball boys who never miss a practice.
What makes high school sports here in South Dakota so special? They do.
You do.
We all do.
High school sports. It's the we that every community needs. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Tonight with our guest host Rob Keighron live in studio. Glad to have Rob on board, presented by the Skybox, Rapid City's premier spot for sports. Games are on tonight. Nuggets, OKC, Game 6 tonight. You got Knicks, Celtics tomorrow. I'm going to get into that. Of course, Rob Keighron's a New York City native. The Knicks, boy, they messed that up yesterday. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll get to that. Hang on. First, I want to go back to this NFL deal here. So, you know, the big controversy this week was the NBA lottery. And going to the Dallas Mavericks, they had a 1.8% chance of actually getting the #1 pick, and they got it. #1, is it rigged? Is it a sports conspiracy? Is it rigged?
No, there's no way it's rigged. And let's be fair, the last 7 years in a row, the team with the worst record has not gotten the first pick. They've lost the lottery the last 7 years in a row. Right. So it's not as if, they always win, and now somehow the league rewarded Dallas for trading Luka to L.A. to put him in a big market with LeBron. No, of course not. That's not what happened. If anything, Nico Harrison got somehow vindicated for his goofy trade.
Just wild.
He gets the number one pick, gets Cooper Flagg now. There's no way it's rigged, right? Because I am not a conspiracy theorist in any way, but if you were going to go down that path, you would have to keep this so internal that the circle of people who knew about it, if one of them breaks ranks, it will destroy your league.
I'm with you on that. It's not rigged. The Chiefs don't get help to win from the NFL. Okay, so all these sports conspiracy theories, you do know the one that is true.
What's that?
That Sean Payton did sabotage Russell Wilson in his last year in Denver. That is true.
When you say sabotage, what do you mean?
He threw away the season. He threw it away. He didn't want to win anymore. He didn't want to win. And so everybody thinks, you're a conspiracy theorist. I'm dying on the hill. That is true that Sean Payton bagged it the last year with Russell, about the last 6 games.
Well, I don't know that he didn't want to win. I think he definitely made a decision that he didn't want Russ as his quarterback, which is why after the Kansas City Chiefs game, which I think you were at and I was at, they wanted to sit him down. And that wasn't just a Sean Payton decision. That was an organizational decision.
So my point is he wasn't trying to win games with Russell. Because if Russell would have kept winning, they went to the playoffs. What was he going to do then?
It would have been near impossible. That part I agree with you. It would have been near impossible to not bring him back.
Wow, I can't believe it. I've proven my conspiracy theory. It's great. Speaking of the lottery, it's not rigged. It's not this. Do you consider it to be an NFL thing?
No, I absolutely don't think.
Would you consider it?
No, I'm 100. I know.
Why?
ESPN, Mike Greenberg was all over this yesterday for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's nothing like the NBA, okay? The NBA, when you get that top, they don't all work out, that's for sure. But when they are generational talents, they transform franchises immediately. Okay? There's 5 guys on the court. One of them is 20%. In the NFL, this is a 53-man roster here. I get quarterbacks, particularly the last. Yeah, but how many have we seen bust as well, right? There's no guarantee that even as the number 1 pick that you're going to be a bona fide star. No guarantee at all. My point to you, Nate, is the NBA teams absolutely tank for players. Do you really think there are not that many examples of football teams who literally tank completely for players? And we can go on a lot of different paths here. But I mean, my stupid Giants, 2 wins, had to find a way to win at the end of the season against Indy. We could have been a couple of spots up. They're still trying to win. Those guys are trying to win.
I agree with that.
On a weekend.
Players are trying to win. They're not tanking. That's another conspiracy theory. Players try to win.
What was it, 5 or 6 years ago in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes? It was the Jags and the Jets, and the Jets won a goofy game at the end of the season. Blew their chance at Trevor Lawrence, right? It happens a lot.
See, this is why it adds to why not do the lottery so we're not worried about stupid things like this. Or lose, should you win? The front office wants you to lose, but they can't control the game. Should you lose, should you win? Why not give 8 teams the chance to get the number 1 pick, and it's a lottery in the NFL? What's the problem? I don't see it.
It would just be the worst 8 teams. It wouldn't be any team that didn't make the playoffs.
No.
Just the worst 8
teams. You got the chance here, and the best chance goes to the worst 3, and then whittle it down from there.
But I think draft lotteries are there to fix a problem, right? Fix a problem of tanking, right? So that you don't, particularly in basketball, you don't go out and win 7 games all
give
season.
Up the rest of the year.
So that you go get this great player. Do we really think that there's this epidemic happening in football where they're all trying to lose week in and week out? Well, I don't think that's happening.
You have seen teams not give their best foot forward. We've seen this where the teams have given up. You've seen them trade players and all sorts of stuff. You could make an argument. The Saints, what are they doing right now? What are the Saints doing?
No, they're
nothing.
You're going to have to rebuild, right? They're going to have to start from the ground up.
Well, they want Arch Manning? That's interesting.
Okay, but you do need to win in football. We know that you need a quarterback. It's not as if these teams are getting the first pick over and over and over again. I mean, there are a handful of teams that have been in that spot a number of times, but I really believe that you'd have to have a problem that you identify, and then you're trying to fix it by the lottery. I don't think there's this massive problem with the way it's being done right now that needs to be fixed.
I was told by a writer yesterday, he said, in our lifetime, the NFL will go to the draft lottery because you're going to end up with a bad deal. Something's going to happen. He said they're going to switch it in our lifetime.
Okay. I may agree with that, but it's not because there's going to be a problem. There will be one reason, and one reason alone, that the NFL moves to a draft lottery. Because 15 million people will watch the balls go through the little lottery thing. I mean, think about how many people watch the schedule release. We already knew who everybody was playing, right? Now we're just looking for the dates and the times and where it happens and who's in prime time. It's like 13 million people watched the schedule release.
So this is the thing. Your Giants could have had a shot. You knew now that they didn't. I don't know why you wouldn't want that.
Because if you're that bad, right, you have an epically bad season. And then you get the unlucky ping pong ball, and now when you were planning on getting Arch Manning, now you get the 4th pick in the draft, and you got nothing, and you set yourself franchise back another year or two. I don't like it.
I'm intrigued by it. It's not there yet. The NBA, the way it worked out this year, everybody pouted and cried that the Mavericks get it. But to me, that's interesting. I want to see Cooper Flagg play with Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis. I didn't want him to go to Washington or Charlotte. Coming right back, we'll stay in the NBA. Knicks. Rob Keighron's Knicks. Are they in trouble? They got to win tomorrow, I'll tell you next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
Skybox. We are Rapid City's premier sports bar with everything you want for the best game watching experience. Bring your crew and take in the action while enjoying our Firehouse craft beers, specialty cocktails, and a great menu of Firehouse burgers, nachos, and more. We have every game, every night on our 35 big screens, and there's not a bad seat in the house. Come and watch your favorite team at the number one place for sports, the Skybox, right above the Firehouse, Main Street, downtown Rapid City.
Fuel your summer with unstoppable savings at Spearfish GMC Cadillac. Save up to $6,250 on new GMC Sierra 1500 or choose finance rates as low as 0.9% for 36 months. Save up to $2,750 on select GMC Sierra HDs. Summer stock is arriving. Check out a great selection of the new Acadia, Yukon, Terrain, and Canyon. Shop online anytime at spearfishmotors.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely, and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger? Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Contact me, State Farm Agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in. Rob Keighron's in studio. It's Happy Hour presented by the Skybox on the Nate Brown Show tonight, Thursday edition. Every Thursday we try and roll it up. Happy Hour presented by the Skybox, Rapid City's premier sports bar. I'm telling you, that's the place for great craft beers from the Firehouse, great burgers, nachos, and more. The games are on. Nuggets tonight. Game 6 against OKC. I'm pumped for it. Jamal Murray, questionable tonight. I don't know if you saw that, Rob. Questionable illness. That's tough for the Nuggets tonight. So they were kind of in trouble reeling. They gave away Game 5. I thought they had it. I watched every game of this series, and now they're in a Game 6 in Denver. They need it, and they need Jamal Murray big time. So I don't know if the Nuggets are going to get it done tonight. James Merilatt from Denver Sports says he thinks they lose. He thinks they go down tonight. How about your boys tomorrow? The New York Knicks, they had it. They were cocky. I mean, the Knicks fans, they acted like, I saw Ewing and Spike Lee and all these guys when they won the other night. They thought it was over. Did you see that? They thought it was over. That's it.
Typical Knicks fans. As someone who's grown up, born and raised in New York City, and has never watched my New York Knicks win a championship. I've been around for 44, almost 45 years now. Never once watched them win a championship. Seen them in the finals a few times.
So what do you mean? They say overconfident?
Oh, they're always. It's a typical New York fan. Let's be fair. I'm a cocky guy. You know this. You tell me it all the time off the air. You're nice enough not to say it on the air. But I'm cocky. I'm overconfident. We think that we are better as New Yorkers. We think that we are better than others, even though our sports teams never really show that for the most part. Although the Yankees obviously have had tremendous success over the years. We do this often, right?
Did you see this coming then last night when they got toasted?
Well, I didn't see it coming so much from the overconfidence perspective. I thought if Boston was going to rally around the fact that they lost their best player, that was the perfect opportunity to do that, right? You're going home, you're down 3-1, your backs are against the wall. A lot of teams will rally for a moment when they lose their best player. Now, can they do it 3 consecutive games? I don't think so. And so I think that's where the overconfidence came from. It's that, well, we're going to win this series one way or the other. Well, I'll tell you right now, as someone who has watched New York Knicks basketball my entire life, if we're down 15 points in the third quarter tomorrow night, that arena, the greatest arena in sports, Madison Square Garden, is going to be so tight, and the fans are going to be so nervous, and it's going to be a big problem. Now, I do think the Knicks get it done tomorrow night. I really do. I think that they will shoot the ball much better. I mean, Anunoby was terrible last night. They'll shoot the ball much better tomorrow night. I think it will be a close game. I don't think they're going to run away with it. But I think Brunson will do enough in the fourth quarter to get them over the top.
Okay, this is why I like your Knicks, meaning I actually root for the Knicks. Brunson's tough. Josh Hart's tough. These guys, the Villanova guys, they're just kind of tough. I like Mikal Bridges.
Yep.
They seem like a likable team to me.
Absolutely.
I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'm watching them. I'm like, I'd like to see the Knicks. I'd like to see the Timberwolves. I'd like to see Knicks Wolves.
Mitchell Robinson can't shoot a free throw for his life. I mean, he's worse than the worst of the worst in the history of basketball. But, man, I've never watched someone rebound like he does. He just gets so many offensive rebounds.
Hard worker. They're a lunch pail team.
They absolutely have a great identity. They don't. I mean, Brunson's a star, but he doesn't come off as a star. Right? He never comes off as super arrogant or a prima donna. Works hard at it, right? And so they do have an identity, unlike some Knicks teams in the past. I agree with you. They're much more easy to root for than a lot of the New York teams in history. So, and I think people will get behind them tomorrow night. I think the one thing you don't want to see the Celtics move on without Jason Tatum.
Right.
Because they're not going to win. They're not going to beat Indiana without Tatum. They certainly wouldn't beat, I don't think, either of the teams left. Maybe Denver, only because Denver's problem, as you and I know, is they don't play enough guys. They have 6 guys.
Right.
I mean, then that's the problem with tonight with Murray. If Murray doesn't play or plays limited, who's playing for him? You don't have anyone there ready to go.
Knicks Could choke it tomorrow. That would be a choke. Let's keep an eye on it. By the way, big sports events this weekend. We'll wrap up the show with this. How passionate of a sports fan are you if you don't know about these May sports events? Do you follow these? We'll discuss next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Our locally owned Ace stores are committed to helping our neighbors and our communities. And because we're in the neighborhood, we can deliver almost anything you need. So shop in store or online for whatever your home or yard needs. Choose from top brands like Milwaukee, Steel, Traeger, and Benjamin Moore. Then pick up in-store, curbside, or we'll deliver your order right to your home. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know how to help. See acehardware.com for details.
Consumers everywhere are loving the benefits of buying locally produced food. Not only is it fresher and more nutritious, it's also good for the local economy. With state-of-the-art facilities throughout the Midwest, the Village Hearth buns you already love are baked and delivered fresh daily to your local grocer. So whether you like unsliced old-fashioned hamburger and hot dog buns or prefer classic white or wheat, just look for the familiar red Village Hearth logo on the package and you've made the right choice. Village Hearth buns, locally baked and delivered fresh daily.
Shop the region's largest selection of spirits, wines, and beers at the best prices today at both Mr. Liquor locations in Rapid City. Save $5 off Menage a Trois Red Blend, now just $6.99. Take $6 off all flavors of Choppin' Vodka, now $23.99. Or pick up High Noon ready-to-drink cocktails, 4 packs, only $9.99. Price is good at the new Mr. Liquor 2 next to Walmart off Catron or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Attention, attention Rapid City. More big news from Gateway Autoplex. We are expanding our services with our brand new state-of-the-art auto repair shop located right behind our lot, 123 Omaha Street. Gateway Tire and Alignment. That's right, Rapid City. We're now your one-stop shop for everything auto-related. From routine maintenance to major repairs, our team of expert technicians has you covered. Plus, with our state-of-the-art equipment, you can trust that your vehicle is in the best possible hands. Visit Gateway Tire and Alignment and see why nobody beats a Gateway deal.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind warning continues. Chance of rain tonight, otherwise overcast skies. Lows level off around 44. Northwest winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Chance of rain tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 58, overcast. Mainly clear skies. Tomorrow night, lows around 39. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 57 degrees.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank & Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank & Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank & Trust. Member FDIC.
Hey, sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street is the newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts. E3 Sports is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
All right, tonight it's been busy on a Thursday. That's how we like it on the Nate Brown Show. Glad you're here. Hope you've had a great day. It is happy hour every Thursday presented by the Skybox, Rapid City's premier sports bar right above the Firehouse downtown, Main Street, Rapid City. So we had a little discussion here before we go. The Nate Brown Show with Rob Keighron live in studio. Matt Kearney said, hey, are you a true sports fan? Like he's asking me, he's got Indy 500 stuff on. In the office, he's got like practice on. It's like practice. And I don't know what's going on. And he said, are you a true sports fan if you don't follow like Indy 500? If you don't follow Preakness, like coming up this weekend. So you look at May, you've got these big events. PGA Championship going on now. You're a big golfer.
Yep.
And I'm said, of course I'm a true sports fan. If I don't know the Indy 500. I'm not watching the Indy 500. So am I kicked out of here?
Yes, absolutely. You have to. The Indy 500 is such history. It's Americana. Do you know when it is? It's the same weekend every year.
Yes, I know. It's Memorial Day weekend.
Okay, at least
I'm okay.
I mean, the Brickyard.
Does that qualify?
I mean, they the milk shower that they get at the end of it. Do I know all of?
Yeah, I'd say, give me the favorite to win the Indy 500. Don't play this game.
I couldn't tell you this year, but I've watched enough of them. I can name a list of people who have won the Indy 500.
Oh, Mario Andretti.
Well, I mean, that's a long time ago.
You.
But
I know what I'm talking about. So book
Helio Castroneves. Is that a good one? Yeah, absolutely. Dan Weldon. I know that one for sure.
No, the point is. I'm not going to be watching a bunch of the Indy 500. I'm following it. I'll know who wins.
You don't have to watch the whole race. It's hours long, right? But I know on that Memorial Day weekend, I'm going to turn that race on with about 40 laps, 50 laps left, right? I want to see the end of that.
Wow.
The good thing about the Indy 500 is there's so many lead changes, right? I mean, and it almost always comes down to that last lap where they're a couple of car lengths apart. So it is exciting. I will absolutely watch the end of the Indy 500. I might watch the beginning. I won't watch probably the 150 laps in between.
You know, I'm not going to be watching it as much. I've already watched the practice runs all week. I've already watched them. By the way,
Speed Weeks.
Preakness this week. You got to watch that. Kentucky Derby happened. Now you get the Preakness, but you don't have the Triple Crown chance. Does that take down the interest?
Of course it takes down the interest. That buffoon trainer, Bill Mott.
He's from South Dakota.
Bill Mott is from South Dakota?
Yes, be careful.
He's a buffoon. A buffoon taking his horse out of the Preakness with a chance of the Triple Crown.
He knows his horse better than you. I hate to tell you.
I don't care. You owe it to the sport. You want to be a horse in horse racing, you got to go for the Triple Crown. You win the Derby, unless the horse is hurt, the horse goes into the Preakness.
So and
yes, you have to watch it.
Your answer is, are you a true passionate sports fan if you don't follow most sports, like all sports?
You don't have to watch every week of every one of these sports, but there are key moments throughout the year that you have to pay attention to. I mean, folks, if you're a sports fan, does it take a whole lot to watch a 2-minute horse race? I mean, come on. You put it on 10 minutes before and you watch the 2 minutes and then you move on. You do something else.
I would tell you, many sports fans listen to the show, and if they're listening to a show like this, they're passionate sports fans. There's a lot of folks that are going, I'm out on the Indy 500. I'm out on the Preakness. I'm out on the PGA Championship, meaning they're not following it closely.
How about the Derby? Do you have to watch the Derby to be a big sports fan? It's the greatest. They say it's the greatest 2 minutes in sports.
Derby. I follow the Derby. I watch the Derby, but there's people listening right now that say,
Oh, I think you have to be a big sport. You have to at least watch the Derby. You can make the argument that the Preakness without the Derby winner is you don't have to watch that this Saturday. I would agree with that.
What else am I missing? Do I have to watch what? It's an interesting time for sports because it's not NFL. It's not NFL. Got some of these premier events. Masters. You got to watch that?
Yes. You cannot be a big-time sports fan and not at least watch.
You're a golf fanatic.
And I watch all 4 rounds. I'm not asking the great sports fan to watch all 4 rounds. But you don't have to turn it on Sunday for the back 9 at the Masters? Yes, you do. If you're a big-time sports fan, you have to turn it on for the last 2 hours of the Masters on Sunday.
I'll give Rob Keighron the final word. He's trying to see if I'm a passionate sports fan. Even if I don't watch the Indy 500, Matt Kearney will decide next week. How much more are we going to watch it leading up to it? For Rob Keighron, Nate Brown Show in the books. Thanks for listening. It is presented by the Skybox, Rapid City's best sports bar. Enjoy the weekend. The Nate Brown Show podcast going up right now.
My reason why is community.
My reason why is